I'm Alicia Gillean from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I teach 5th and 6th grade. I'm the media specialist, so I work with all students, about 650 of them, and all teachers in the building, about 60 of them. I'm kind of an instructional coach on all subject areas with students and teachers. For my PolarTREC expedition, I got to go out to Toolik Field Station. It is way far north of the Brooks Range, and I was working with researchers from the University of Alaska. We were studying the circadian rhythms of Arctic ground squirrels. Actually, arriving in Tillich was very exciting. It had been a long ride up there. I got to ride up with my researcher and an undergraduate student who was working with us. But it was just so exciting to see where science actually takes place on the tundra, because it's nothing all around, and then all of a sudden there's this little science mecca, and it's actually really exciting to see these weather ports and trailers, and it's a neat place to be. I think one of my favorite memories is walking across the tundra with Jeanette Moore. She was one of the researchers from the University of Alaska. It was one of my first days out, kind of walking with her while we were trapping. We were walking across the tundra and it was just starting to bloom. So we were going from the brown and the snow and dead to all of a sudden things were starting to bud. And Jeanette has this laser eye that sees any speck of color on the tundra. So there were little buds of flowers that I totally missed. And Jeanette would be so excited and she'd stop and kneel down and she'd point out the flower and she'd take pictures and tell me all about it. And it was so exciting for me to see that enthusiasm. She's been working on the tundra for more than 2 decades, and she's still so excited every time she sees fireweed or any type of Alaskan flower or animal or person. And just her enthusiasm is just so exciting. And I've definitely brought that back to my students as one of my big takeaways, is how passionate scientists are about their area and about their subject. Personally, PolarTREC was the adventure of a lifetime. I learned that I'm capable of doing a lot more than I probably thought I could. I never in a million years thought I would be walking across the tundra carrying 27 squirrel traps. And I found out that I'm able to do it. So I was able to challenge myself in more ways than I ever imagined. Professionally, I have so much that I can bring back to my students in Oklahoma. So many great examples of how scientists use data, how scientists ask questions. And it's been exciting for me to bring back the Arctic to Oklahoma, because my kids in the Midwest don't think about the poles, they think about the prairie. And so it's been exciting to share with them that there is life up at the North Pole. It's not always snowy and polar bears, and there's not penguins and polar bears together. For me, it's very exciting that my students, my 5th and 6th graders in Oklahoma, are thinking about the Arctic now. They're thinking about the poles, and that's nothing that they would have done without the PolarTREC experience. It's not written into our curriculum that we teach about the Arctic. It's not written in that we teach about Antarctica. But I've been able to look at our curriculum and find ways that it makes sense to bring in all of that important information that I learned. So I think that's the biggest thing, is my students have seen examples of real science. They've worked with scientists, they've Skyped with them, they've used real scientific data that my researcher Corey and I got to put together. So they've been scientists, they're thinking about the Arctic. I even had one of my little 5th grade girls come and ask me, what is the earliest that I can possibly go to the Arctic and do something like you did? So I was able to research like the Girls on Ice program and the JSET program and tell her about, in the future, this might be an option for you. And she wanted me to print stuff off for her so she could prepare for it like 5 years down the road. So my kids are excited about an ecosystem they knew nothing about before, and that's exciting to me. The PolarTREC program is a fantastic opportunity to learn about the poles, to learn about an environment that you may never get to experience any other way, and it is such a fantastic opportunity to create lasting relationships with researchers. I still email my researchers, both Corey and Jeanette, pretty frequently. I still am in contact with the REU student, the undergrad student that worked with us. And just those relationships that we've built, I think will have a long-term impact for my students and for me professionally.